In a previous class, nuclear chapter up to 13.18 problems completed. So still we have 3-4 problems. In this class, we'll try to complete the 3-4 problems, and then tomorrow onwards we'll go for a new lesson. If last any time is there, we'll discuss some NEET questions. So I think earlier both the PUC and the NEET material I have sent through WhatsApp to our groups. So better to go through that material also. Okay. Now we'll complete remaining problems in textbook. So that is a 13.19. So problem number 13.19. 19th question. I'll read the question. If you have the textbook or any material, go through this one. How long can an electrical lamp of 100 watt? How long means in the starting only question they given time. You should calculate time. How long an electrical lamp of 100 watt? So power of the lamp given 100 watt. Be kept glowing by fusion of 2 kg of deuterium. For example, one electric bulb given to you, the power of the bulb is 100 watt. So they have given power of the bulb or power of the lamp P is equal to 100 watt. How long can you glow this bulb? So, but how we are getting energy to the bulb generally? 2 kg of the deuterium fused. Whenever fusion takes place, some amount of energy liberated. But we are using a 2 kg of the deuterium. So here mass of deuterium given M is equal to 2 kilograms. But generally, Avogadro number we have taken 6.023 into 10 power 23. That's why I'll convert this value into grams. That is equal to 2000 gram or 2 into 10 to the power of 3 grams. So how Avogadro number already we know. N is equal to Avogadro number is equal to 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 Avogadro number. And also how we got the energy to the bulb? By fusion reaction. So fusion of the deuterium, and they have only given 1H2 plus 1H2 combined to form one helium nucleus. So you should write 1H2. I'll write equation here. 1H2 plus 1H2 combined, total 2 deuterium atoms are combined to form one helium isotope 2He3 plus we have to balance 0. Here 1 plus 1 2, 2 minus 2 equal to 0. Here 4 minus 3 is equal to 1. That is nothing but a neutron plus some amount of energy also given, that is a 3.27 MeV. 3.27 mega electron volt or million electron volt. Then we need to calculate the time of glowing of the bulb. T is equal to question mark. But this 3.27 MeV emitted for how many deuterium atoms? For total 2 deuterium atoms, the amount of energy liberated is equal to 3.27 MeV. But for one atom, divided by 2 you should take. Correct. Now I'll write energy released by 2 deuterium atoms or 2 1H2 atoms. E is equal to or E dash is equal to 3.27 MeV. So of course we may convert into joule later. For 2 atoms 3.27, but for 1 atom how much amount of energy emitted? Means divided by 2 you should write. So therefore for 1 atom, for 1H2 atom, E is equal to 3.27 divided by 2 MeV. But instead of MeV I want to convert into joule. 1 MeV is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 13 joule. You should multiply this one. 3.27 into 1.6 divided by 2. 2.616 into 10 to the power of minus 13 joule. It is a total amount of energy released by one deuterium atom. Correct. Now, what they asking question? For total 2 kg of the deuterium if you are using, then how many atoms participated? For 1 atom it is amount of energy emitted, but the 2000 grams contains how many atoms? You should calculate first from Avogadro hypothesis. Number of atoms in 2 into 10 to the power of 3 grams of 1H2 is, we know formula, Avogadro number into mass of the sample by mass number. It is a formula, number of atoms formula. Then I'll write here, number of atoms is equal to 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 into 2000 grams, 2 into 10 power 3 by mass number is equal to 2. That is a 1H2. Deuterium atom means mass number 2 you should take. So 2 get cancelled. 6.023 into 10 power 23 into 10 power 3. Add both. 10 power 26 will get. That is equal to 6.023 into 10 to the power of 26 atoms. Now check here. Okay. Now amount of energy released for one atom 2.616 into 10 power minus 13 joule. Total number of atoms participated 6.023 into 10 power 26 atoms. With this amount of energy, how much time the bulb will glow? The power of the bulb is 100 watt. Now I'll take from the formula, power P is equal to energy by time. For one atom means E by T. For n atoms, Ne by T. That is equal to Ne by T should write. Therefore, T is equal to Ne by P. Substitute number of atoms, energy and also power in this formula. Time T is equal number of atoms 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 into energy 2.616 into 10 to the power of minus 13 divided by power is equal to 100. 6.023 into 2.616 divided by 100 also. 0.1575 means round off to 76. 75 something means you may round off to 76 we can write. 0.1576 into, correct, 10 to the power of 23 minus 13 is equal to 10 to the power of 10 seconds. Or still if you want to adjust, that is 15.76 into 10 to the power of, or 15.76 into 1 point, right, 15.76 into 10 to the power of 8 seconds. Or we write 1 point also, okay. If you want to write, write 1 point also, your choice. That is called 1 point into means 10 power 9. Correct? Check what they have given answer. Years given. 1.576 into 10 to the power of 9 seconds. If you want to get the value in years, how many years the bulb will glow? So divide the value with actually up to here enough. For final exam, no need to go for years or months. So it is only SI unit. If you want to convert the value, T is equal to 1.576 into 10 to the power of 9 by 1 year 3.154 into 10 to the power of 7 years. 0. So complete value T is equal to 0.4996 into 10 to the power of 2. 10 power 2 na? 10 to the power of 2. Once again check the calculation. Ten power check the calculation values. Your energy 3.27 by 2 into sorry, 1 second. Here you should write 10 power minus 90 okay, mega. MeV means 1.6 into 10 power minus 13, 2.616 into 10 power minus 13. This value correct? Energy 2.616 into 10 power minus 13. Now number of atoms is equal to 6.023 into okay, powers where where this value, I think I have written Avogadro number, but that is not Avogadro number. So number of atoms already we have written here 10 power 26 you should write. So that is equal 26 minus 13 means 13 you should write, correct? 13. Here also if you adjust digits means check what you will get. One digit if you adjust means 12 will get, I think. If you adjust one digit right side, if you adjust one digit right side means you will get 10 power 12 if you write. So 10 power 12 and here 12 minus 7, 5. So 5 means we have to check the value. Here you should write 10 to the power of 5. Then you should write 4, 9, next value, any value is there? After 9, 6, 0 you should write. Then check here 49,960 years, approximately 50,000 years the bulb can glow. So nearly 50,000 years the bulb will glow. So check the answer. That is a question number 13.19. So 4.9 into 10 power 4 years. 4.9 into 10 power 4, or we can write 49,960 years. Easy to understand. That is equal to 4.996 into 10 to the power of 4 years. Or we can write like this also. So check how interesting this one. Only we are selecting as one bulb having 100 watt power, but how much mass we are using? Just 2 kg of the deuterium we have selected. If it is completely converted into energy and we have supplied to the bulb, and how much time the bulb can glow? 50,000 years nearly the bulb will glow, only for 2 kg of the deuterium. So we can understand how much a lot of energy will be liberated by fusion process. That's all. Here correct this one. This value should write. Number of atoms 10 power 26 is should write here. 10 power 26. 26 minus 13. 10 power 13. 10 power 13. One digit we are adjusting. 10 power 12. If you want to convert into years, divided by this value should write 10 power 7. So that is a 12 minus 7 is equal to 10 to the power of 5. Then you should write 49,960 or 4.996 into 10 power 4 years. That is my copies. Okay. Now we'll go for next question. So I think you have copied this one. Next question number 20, 13.20. So calculate the height of the potential barrier. Calculate the height of the potential barrier for a head-on collision of two deuterons. So two deuterons are coming towards each other and both collided. Then you should calculate the height of the potential barrier. So nothing but electrostatic potential energy, which will be converted into nothing but first initial they are having a Ke, but converted into electrostatic Pe. We should calculate. And hint given, the height of the potential barrier is given by the Coulomb repulsion between the two deuterons when they just touch each other. Assume that they can be taken as hard spheres. Both are hard spheres which will not get distorted or which will not damaged. And also the radius will be 2 Fermi right here. Radius of each deuterium atom or each 1H2 atom R is equal to 2 Fermi. That is equal to 2 Fermi means 2 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. 1 Fermi is equal to 10 power minus 15 meter. But initially both are coming towards each other and both will hit each other like this. Both are two deuterium atoms only. Both are having the same mass. It is a radius of the first one is equal to R. Radius of the second one also equal to R. Whenever both touch each other, what is the total distance between these two? Total distance small r is equal to R plus R, which is equal to R. You should write. Total distance equal to R. Now, when they are in contact, means at the time of the collision, both will be in contact. The distance of separation R is equal, small r is equal to R. R plus R you should write. Center of the first sphere to the center of the second sphere, total 2R, which is equal to 2 into, but R already we have given 2 into 10 to the power of minus 15. That is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 15 meter. Now we need to calculate the height of the potential barrier. So height of the potential barrier means generally the total Ke is in the form of electrostatic Pe that you should calculate. But 1H2 means nothing but having you should write like this, 1H2 both. So charge equal to charge of the proton or charge of the electron. So write a Q1, Q2 both are equal to, Q1 is equal to Q2 equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 Coulomb. Now we should write, therefore, for two 1H2 atoms, Ke is equal to electrostatic Pe, which is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q2 by R. So already in the first track, you know, electric potential chapter, I think already discussed electrostatic Pe formula. If it is a Coulomb's inverse square law, R square you should write. But electrostatic Pe, no square, only R you should write. Therefore, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value, 9 into 10 to the power of 9. But Q1 Q2 both are equal. 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 into 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 divided by R is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 15. 4 into 10 to the power of minus 15. You have to simplify this value. Total or numerator? 5.76. Correct? 9 into 1.6 into 1.6 divided by 4 into 10 power minus 15. 5.76 into here 10 power minus 19 minus 19 minus 38. Minus 38 and 15 also may take to numerator. That is a 15 plus 9, 24. Minus 38 plus 24. 38 minus 24. 10 power minus 14. That is a joule. If you want to convert the value into electron volt, I'll convert this value. So Ke or Pe, right? Therefore, K is equal to 5.76 into 10 to the power of minus 14 by 1 joule is equal to 1 by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 electron volt. In exam, no need of conversion. Actually, joule is SI unit only. If you want to get the answer in electron volt, divide this value. 5.76 by 1.6. That is called 3.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 taken to numerator plus 19. That is called 19 minus 14 is equal to 5 electron volt. Or I'll adjust 2 digits, 360 into 10 to the power of 3 electron volt. But 10 power 3 is called kilo. So you may also write 360 kilo electron volt, KeV. So for the total 2 deuterons, how much amount of energy is there? 360 kilo electron volt is there. For each one, how much is there? Divided by 2, 180, 180, 180. So that is a 13 point question number 20. The given 360 kilo electron volt. So sometimes the same question may be asked for competitive exams also. Then we have to remember what is the kinetic energy of each deuteron. Same question, just one word may be different. What is the kinetic energy or height of the potential barrier of each deuteron? Then you have to divide the value with 2. We'll get the value 180 kilo electron volt. That is only 20th question. Now we'll go for 21. Okay, question number 21. From the relation R is equal to R naught into A to the power of 1 by 3. From the relation R is equal to R naught into A to the power of 1 by 3. So from this relation, where R naught is a constant and A is a mass number of the given nucleus, show that the nuclear matter density is a constant that is independent of the mass number. So from this relation we have to prove nuclear density does not depend upon the mass number. Right here, density formula, or first mass of the nucleus. Mass of the nucleus, I'll write M is equal to, generally nucleus contains how many nucleons? If you take XZA, it contains A nucleons. Mass of one nucleon, for example M, maybe proton or neutron. Mass of one nucleon is equal to M. Then what is the mass of all A nucleons? M into A. For one nucleon, mass M. For A nucleons, mass is equal to A into M or M into A. Now, what is the volume of the nucleus? Volume of the nucleus. So formula V is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. It is a formula for volume of the nucleus, because the nucleus is having a spherical shape. Volume of the sphere formula 4 by 3 pi r cube. But already r they given. We have to substitute here. That is equal to 4 by 3 pi into r place I am writing r naught into A to the power of 1 by 3 whole cube. 4 by 3 pi into r naught into A power 1 by 3 whole cube. Just simplify this one. That is equal to 4 by 3 pi into r naught whole cube. Here whole cube and power 1 by 3 both get cancelled. Then you should write only r naught. It is the volume of the nucleus. Now we will calculate what is the density of the nucleus. Therefore, nuclear density or density of the nucleus, rho is equal to mass of the nucleus by volume of the nucleus formula. Density of the nucleus is equal to mass of the nucleus by volume of the nucleus. Here mass of the nucleus we know small m into A divided by volume of the nucleus 4/3 pi r naught cube into A. If any cancellation is there, cancel the terms in numerator and denominator. Check here. Here mass number A, here also mass number A, both get cancelled. Take a 3 to numerator. Rho is equal to 3 into m divided by 4 pi into r naught cube. So in this formula there is no mass number. Already we have cancelled A. Then this 3 taken to numerator, 3 into m divided by 4 pi into r naught cube. In this formula 3, 4, pi constants. R naught proportionality constant. It only depends upon proportionality or experimental constant. And m mass of the nucleon also constant. In this formula all are constants means what about the density? Also constant. So that only they asked. Therefore last we write conclusion. Therefore nuclear density is independent of the mass number that is it is a constant for all the nuclei. That is it is a constant for all the nuclei. Constant for all the nuclei. Constant for all the nuclei. That is a question number 21, I think. In this chapter, we'll go for last problem, 22, 13.22. What they have given? For the beta plus emission from the nucleus. Beta plus means already we know positron, antiparticle of electron, that is a positron. For beta plus emission from the nucleus, there is another competent process which is known as electron capture, means electron is absorbed by the nucleus. For beta plus emission, exactly there is an opposite process called as electron capture. The given. Now one formula also given, electron capture formula also given. Now what they are asking, show that if a beta plus emission is energetically allowed, electron capture is necessarily allowed. Whenever beta plus emission is possible, electron capture also should be possible, but not vice versa. If electron capture is allowed, but beta plus emission need not be allowed, not mandatory, it may be, but not must. But whenever beta plus emission is possible energetically, but electron capture also should be possible. But whenever electron capture is possible, but beta plus emission may or may not be. It is not mandatory, it is may or may not be. That we have to prove. So we will take two process. One is electron capture and one is beta plus emission. I will take first case, beta plus emission. First I'll go for beta plus emission. and I'll write one formula according to E is equal MC square formula I'll take, or 931.5. So beta plus emission means I'll take any one nucleus XZA, one nucleus I'm taking, atomic number Z, mass number A. It emits one beta plus particle. Beta plus means you should write electron, that is positron, E plus 1, 0. Here, whenever it is emitting one beta plus particle, no change in mass number. Why I am writing here A. But atomic number, what will be happened? Decreases by 1, Z minus 1. Z minus 1 plus 1. Minus 1 plus 1 both cancelled. So both sides it will be equalized, balanced. But the positron always accompanied by one particle called neutrino plus some amount of energy also I am writing, which is equal to Q, or that is a Q1. Amount of energy emitted is equal to Q1. That Q1 I will calculate. But how to find Q1? Mass of the reactants minus mass of the products I'll take. So Q1 is equal to mass of XZA. But here how I am calculating means I'll subtract electrons. So to get the atomic masses, I'll subtract electrons generally. So from it is nothing but a mass of XZA reactant, but it contains how many electrons? Z electrons. I'll subtract Z electrons from this one, minus Z into Me. From this atom, I am subtracting Z electrons, so that will get the atomic masses. So this part will be called as mass of reactants minus mass of the products. I'll take mass of the reactants minus mass of the products into C square, or 931.5, your choice. Now right side, mass of Y Z minus 1 A minus how many electrons we have to remove? Total Z minus 1 electrons we have to remove from Y. Therefore it is equal to minus of Z minus 1 into Me. Here only we have subtracted Z electrons from this atom, but here we are subtracting a Z minus 1 electrons from this atom. Next, here one more, nothing but what? Product, positron. That's why it is equal to plus, you should write Me. Understand carefully. This part will be mass of the reactants. This part will be mass of the products. But to get the atomic masses or nuclear masses, I am subtracting a Z electrons from this atom and a Z minus 1 electrons from this atom. But this Me will be nothing but a product. That's why mass of Y and mass of E, both we are adding this one. But a neutrino, there will be no mass, no need to write. Correct. So here I will write into C square. So this total part will be delta M. According to Einstein mass energy equation, E is equal to mc square or delta M into C square. So delta M means mass of the reactants minus mass of the products into C square. Now open the bracket and simplify it. That is equal to mass of XZA minus Z into Me. Minus Z into Me. Or one more step I'll write, no problem. Minus of, here also mass of Y Z minus 1 A. Here if you multiply this one, check what will get. Minus Z into Me is equal to minus ZME minus into minus plus Me. Also plus Me should write. Correct? Only this one, bracket is only for this one. Only bracket is for this one means minus Z into Me is equal to minus ZME minus of plus Me. This plus Me same written. Correct? This main bracket I have not opened. Now into C square. Now right, now if you open this bracket, the symbols will be changed. I'll write mass of XZA minus ZME. If you open this bracket, here minus mass of Y Z minus 1 A minus into minus plus ZME. Next, here plus Me is equal plus 2Me. Here it is a plus 2Me but here minus is there. Minus of plus is equal to minus 2me into c square. Any cancellation? Minus zme plus zme get cancelled both. Therefore, remaining mass of the parent element or mass of the reactant m of xza minus mass of the product m of y z minus 1a minus 2me into c square. It is a q1. Write this one as equation 1. So try to understand carefully. In case of the beta plus emission means meaning whenever a radioactive sample or any sample emits one beta plus particle, its atomic number decreases by 1, but the mass number remains the same. So here also I have written one xza emits one beta plus particle E plus 1 0 and a neutrino plus some amount of energy. It will be converted into x converted into y z minus 1a. I am calculating amount of energy released here. Mass of the reactants minus mass of the products into c square, and I am subtracting electrons from the atom. If you subtract electrons from the atom, what will get? Nuclear masses. So that we got this first equation. Same way, exactly there is an opposite process which is called electronic capture. All right. So put the next one heading and remember this formula carefully. Whatever we have solved here, remember this formula, and after getting a electronic capture, we'll get second equation. We'll compare both the first and second equations. So I'll go for electronic capture. Electron or E minus capture. Electron capture. Here also write one formula. Electron capture means E, or I'll write xza plus E minus 1 0 if taken the nucleus, around the nucleus there are number of orbits or shells like K, L, M, N and so on. So your electron capture means the electron in the innermost orbit of the atom, that is in the K shell, is captured by the nucleus. That is only called electron capture. So here xza is the given element or given nucleus. It is absorbed one electron, or which is also called beta minus particle. Then you should write here. It becomes a y. Mass number remains same. Here a plus 0 is equal to same. You should write a. Z minus 1 you should write here. Now check balanced. Here left side Z minus 1, right side also Z minus 1. But here the emitted particle will be called as a neutrino, nu, plus some amount of energy is equal to Q2. In the textbook also I think they have given same equation, they only given E minus 1 plus xza emits y z minus 1 plus neutrino plus some amount of energy have written Q2. Now same process in the previous whatever we followed. So try and find Q2 value. Q2 is equal to mass of xza. So this one mass of xza means mass of the reactants minus mass of the products, and I'll subtract how many electrons from this atom? Z electrons minus Z into Me. So from this atom I am subtracting Z electrons plus one more is equal to Me, should write mass of electron plus Me. It is nothing but mass of the reactants. So there are two reactants, one is xza, one is electron. Here mass of electron Me and the mass of this atom is equal to M of xza, but we subtracted Z electrons from this one minus mass of the products. Only there is a one product, mass of M of y Z minus 1a. But here also how many electrons we have to remove? Z minus 1 electrons we have to subtract. That is equal to z minus 1 into me into c square. According to Einstein mass energy equation, Q is equal to delta m into c square. Then write, simplify this one. M of x ZA minus ZME plus ME. I'll write one more step, no problem. Minus M of y Z minus 1A. Here if you simplify this one, minus Z into ME is equal to minus ZME minus of minus plus ME into C square. Now you may open this bracket. The symbols will be changed. Therefore, Q2 is equal to M of x ZA minus ZME plus ME minus M of y Z minus 1A minus into minus plus ZME. Here also minus into plus minus ME into C square. If any cancellation is there, try to cancel the terms. Minus ZME plus ZME get cancelled, and then plus ME and minus ME also get cancelled. Then you should write the remaining M of x ZA minus M of y Z minus 1A into C square. It is a Q2, and equation 2 you should take. Now write this one first. So total we got two equations. One is for beta plus emission, one is for electron capture. One for beta plus emission, one for electron capture. Now compare the two equations. If you copied, I'll write the two equations here and I'll compare both. If you copied, I'll go for a comparison. Right up to this one. Now I'll write first and second equations here again. Now check the first equation. Check first equation, what you have written here. Q1 is equal to M of x ZA minus M of y Z minus 1A minus 2ME minus 2ME into C square. It is we have written first equation. Now check the first and second equations. For example, Q1 is for example greater than 0. So Q1 greater than 0 means check what is the meaning. For example, M of x ZA is equal to 10. M of x ZA is equal to 10. Next, minus M of y Z minus 1 is equal to 7. So this value will be for example 7. Next, minus 2ME is equal to, for example, I am writing 2. Then how much total? So minus 7 minus 2 equal to minus 9. So 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. So that is a greater than 0. Na? So that means Q1 will be greater than 0. We can write Q1, which is equal to, we got how much? Plus 1. Plus 1 means don't write numbers, only to understand I have written here. So Q1 is plus 1 means it is greater than 0. What about Q2? Same, M of x ZA means it is equal to 10. So this value is equal to minus 7. But here no electrons. No electrons means what is the value? Plus 3. Correct? So here same numbers I have written here and here to compare. Here it is equal 10. it is also 10. It is 7. This value also 7. But here extra 2 electrons are there. I have written here 2. Then if you simplify total value, here plus 1, but it is equal to plus 3. Whenever Q1 is greater than 0, don't write. If Q1 is greater than 0, then what about Q2? Whenever Q1 is greater than 0, so Q2 also should be greater than 0. Then we can write then Q2 also greater than 0. So there will be no confusion. It is a clear and must be 0. Must be greater than 0. If Q1 is greater than 0 and Q2 must be greater than 0. Now I'll compare. If Q2 greater than 0, then what about Q1? We have to check. Reverse. Check here. So I'll take for example Q12. This value is equal to 10. So this value 10. And I'll take this value for example 9. Correct? So this value 10 and this value 9. Then what is the value? Plus 1. So Q2 clearly greater than 0. Correct? Now I'll check this one. If this value 10 means it is also equal to 10. So this value 9. So this value also automatically 9. But here extra 2 electrons are there. I'll write something value, for example, minus 2. Now check what is will get. Minus 1. So that is equal to minus 1 you should write. So that means whenever Q2 greater than 0, so Q1 need not be greater than 0. It may be minus or may be plus. For example, this value is equal to only 0.5. Then what will get? So this value 9.5. That equal to plus, it is equal to 0.5. So sometimes it may be plus, sometimes it may be 0, or sometimes it may be less than 0 also. So that's why reverse process not possible, not mandatory or not compulsory. Then what you should write? If Q2 greater than 0, then Q1 need not be greater than 0. Need not be greater than 0. Correct? A general statement. So don't write this one. Now write last conclusion. From equations 1 and 2, write last conclusion. From equations 1 and 2. 1 and 2. If beta plus emission, if beta plus emission is energetically allowed, if a beta plus emission is energetically allowed, then electronic capture is necessarily allowed. Electronic capture is necessarily allowed, but not vice versa. Necessarily allowed, but not vice versa. That is question number 22. So with this, all the numericals from textbook I have solved. Whenever you have the time, so try to revise the chapter clearly. And if any change of the syllabus is there, so I think more than 50% of the chapter will be deleted in this chapter. If a syllabus changes there means, if no change is there, so we can go for the total syllabus. Correct? So depending upon the PU board, whatever they have, they are going to announce, we have to wait. So generally CBSE already deleted some part of the syllabus, 30% of the syllabus deleted. So not all the chapters. So in each and every chapter almost some content they deleted. Like first, second, third, all the chapters almost some content they deleted. For example, dual nature of the radiation matter. So we have last one experiment is there. What is that? Davison-Germer experiment, they deleted. So no need to prepare that experiment. If PU board also given means. And for example, this nuclear chapter, total radioactivity part they deleted. No need to prepare radioactivity also. But we have to wait. So for example, in the month of the September, if college reopened, for example, then we also can expect 30% of the syllabus may be reduced. In such case, so at the time of the reopening, clearly we will intimate what are the topics to be studied for PUC, what are the topics to be omitted or neglected for PUC will announce. But generally, we have to prepare first PUC total part for a NEET exam, because first year already we have prepared last year only. So I think there may be no change for your batch. But second year, if a syllabus is deleted, means we will go according to the pattern. Now tomorrow class I'll start semiconductor electronics. So next chapter I'll start. But last only we have 5 minutes time, so we cannot go for any new chapter also. That's why tomorrow class I'll start a new lesson. So solid state electronics or semiconductor electronics. For PUC, that is also around 9 marks will be given generally. And in that also CBSE some part they deleted. But in this regular class, online class, I'll teach total part. But while going for offline classes, again we'll discuss whether it is there or not. So but the theory part more important, that chapter also. And this chapter, so try to revise carefully. Already have sent PUC material and also NEET or JEE material, and synopsis also have given around 13-14 nearly 20 pages I have given. So first complete PUC part, PUC level, like 1 mark, 2 marks, 5 marks, 3 marks, and total PUC chapter try to prepare. After completion of this one, practice numericals from textbook exercise. So keep the textbook with you. If you don't have textbook, so through online we can download and we can take the problems also, and read the problem, and from your notes all the problems I solved. So try to solve the problems. After completion of this one, whatever material already have sent, so go through the synopsis. Each and every point we have covered in the synopsis. First go through the synopsis, and then we have provided level 1, level 2 questions. Level 1 simple questions, and a major part theoretical based questions we have given. So try to go through the questions. So first only don't refer the answers. First try to answer the questions, or I may take the pencil and I have to take the answers. After completion of the level 1, so just to go through the answers. So whatever the questions you have taken wrong, better to go through yourself only analysis. Why this question wrong? So the question concept not covered, or you have not prepared, or it is out of syllabus, or try to analyze. And after completion of the level 1, then go through level 2. So before going to level 2, so take one rough notebook and practice, try to write all the formulae without seeing. So after writing all the formulae without seeing, then start level 2 and try to solve the problems. Correct. Now tomorrow class I'll start a new lesson. Okay, thank you.